What's up, Motorheads? Today we've got something a little different for you. We're going to be looking at some of the more interesting and cool rides that you can literally buy right now. So let's check out some awesome live auctions. Alright, first up, and we're starting strong, and that's the BMW 1M. Yeah. I mean, there's not much time left on this auction, so no hard feelings. If you pause, like right here, grab that link out of the description below, and then just go nuts. Go spend all your money. Anyways, you guys are probably pretty familiar with this thing. I mean, for good reason. This is like regarded as probably the best modern BMW, and I know you ask enough people, I think you're gonna get quite a few that are gonna say this is like the best BMW like ever made. Anyway, so about 740 of these things made it to the U.S. That's it, and this one is one of only 435 that's finished in this kind of gorgeous. It's called Valencia Orange Metallic. And I kind of think this is the color to get. I mean, it was like the press color. It's awesome. And this one looks to be pretty well maintained. I mean, they just completed service in June of 2021. Yeah, this June. And the mileage is pretty low, 37,000 miles. And lastly, it's I think it's got all the options. It's like just loaded, which is cool. With this big switch to electric and the manual gearbox just totally disappearing, I gotta imagine these things will only go up in price. And it's just one of those things that just checks all the boxes. It's super rare. It's amazing to drive. It looks awesome. I mean, it's just a little bulldog, and I mean, good luck finding something more fun than this thing to drive. So, my advice, just cash in that 401k and just buy this thing now. So next up, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. I mean, check out this VW Type 2 transporter. I mean, look at this thing. So the auction says 1993, which I thought, that's gotta be wrong, right? But look, after digging around this thing, I actually think it's legit. So check it out. So the Type 2 started production all the way back in 1967 and ended production in 1979 for the US and Europe. But believe it or not, in Mexico, they kept making these things all the way to 1994. That's nuts. Not a whole lot to say about these buses. You either kind of love them or you don't. If you're into these, this one looks pretty enticing. And condition looks to be very good. Mileage is really low at 30K. I mean, it's not perfect, but it does look pretty great. Check out this inside with that cream and brown vinyl. That looks great. There's even this surfboard rack in the back to go along with all that sweet wood. I mean, man, how fun would this thing be to throw some longboards out in the back and park this thing at the beach? I mean, that's where this thing belongs, right? I promise you take this thing up the PCH to Malibu, you get way more looks than any Porsche or Lambo. I'll tell you that much. All right, moving on to something British, with a big 6-liter V12. I mean, that should narrow it down quite a bit, right?
The two most exciting engines in the world are the Jaguar V12 that powers our race car and the Jaguar V12 that powers the smooth and silent Jaguar Xjs.
Yep, we are taking a look at this 1994 Jaguar Xjs Convertible. All right, so Jaguar made a lot of these. I mean, like over 115,000 of these things. But I mean, most of these things, and I really mean most, were just not taken very good care of. And there's just not that many really good examples of these things around anymore. And these things, they should be cheap enough that if you're looking for something like this, you should really be able to hold out for a really nice example. And I think this might be one of them. So the looks, not for everybody. I think it's pretty rad looking. It's way more interesting than, say, like the Mercedes SLs of the time. And this is just aged so much better too, especially in this glacier white. The interior is looking pretty good. Could use a bit of a refresh, but it wouldn't take that much to get this thing really looking special. And for the money, classic V12 drop top that looks this nice. Yeah, it's cool, and I just think it's going to get even cooler with time. So up next, we're taking a look at this darling first generation 1969 Ford Bronco.
The Bronco is a roadster, wide open, all fun and adventure. The Bronco's a sports utility, ready for any kind of action.
Now there's so much hype and discussion about the new Bronco, and look, it's pretty cool, and I do really like it a lot. It's just never really gonna be as cool as the original, and that's, like, I don't make the rules, it's just the plain truth of it, right? So check out this blue beauty, and look, it appears to be in pretty fantastic condition inside and out, and this color is just kind of great, right? It just works. A lot of this cosmetic work was also done pretty recently in the fall of 2019, and again, I think they did a solid job. Under the hood, you got this replacement 302 cubic inch V8 that's been overhauled by a shop in San Diego called Wholesale Automotive Machine, and they've done a bunch of work on it. For the details and all that stuff, just check out the listing. You can find a link to that listing in the description of this video. Just scroll down there and you'll find it. One of the few things to mention before we move on is this thing has power brakes. It's got power steering. Nice. It also comes with a removable hardtop, a bikini soft top, and the swing out tire carrier. So look, this thing isn't gonna be cheap. It's just not. But if you got the cash, I think you're gonna be pretty stoked to drive this thing around. I mean, who wouldn't be, right?
All that just over a car.
It's not a car, Ruth. It's an Alfa Romeo.
All right, last but definitely not least, we're taking a look at this little Italian beauty of a project car, the 1969 Alfa Romeo Gtv. That V stands for veloce, which means fast. So yep, this is the fast one. And man, she's a beauty. Beautiful. Designed by none other than the Giorgetto Giugiaro for a little shop you may have heard of, Bertone. So this is a project car, and the seller describes it as, quote unquote, a running and driving project that will require a full mechanical inspection, sorting, and corrosion repair before it's truly roadworthy. All right, so don't let that freak you out too much. I mean, cosmetically, I think we're in pretty good shape here. It's a touch of rust here and there. But we're not going to go through all the mechanical ins and out and all that stuff. If you're, for the details, just click the link in the description and you can check out all the specifics there. All right, broad strokes, it's got a replacement 2.0 liter four banger with a 5-speed manual that, just appears to be in pretty good shape. It's undeniably beautiful. It's rare. I mean, I can't imagine you're going to see many of these things at your neighborhood Cars and Coffee, right? So bottom line, if you're looking for a bit of a project or a decent Alfa mechanic, I mean, this thing's an absolute home run. Beautiful, Italian, very rare, especially here in the States. Honestly, I'm trying really hard not to bid on this thing myself.
I want some pizza!